Hi everyone, Katie here. Welcome back to another layout video. Today I am working on a layout with some pictures of our trip to a salt mine while we were in Peru, which was really quite interesting. I have my Fresh Bouquet crepe paper 6x8 paper pad. I recently picked this up at Tuesday morning. I am so excited because at least the Tuesday mornings around me are starting to get more crafting inventory, and I'm really excited to find things that I like there again. So I've got that. I pulled out 3 pages, and you can see that I have cut them diagonally, I guess down the middle diagonally, if that makes sense, to make into triangles here. Now, I kind of had an idea in my head. I must say, it doesn't turn out exactly like, my idea was in my head, but I kind of like it better. So I'm arranging and flipping and sorting and trying to figure out, how exactly do I want these to lay. I did realize that I cut one of them, the pink one that's currently on top, I cut that on the back side. So it actually made the diagonal go opposite. So my pieces do not all line up, which changed my original plan of trying to make like a spirally kind of quilt-like thing. But I still like how it's turned out. My reddish color piece and the navy one, though, they are cut the same, so it works out to kind of overlap them and sort of make like a, still again, kind of quilt-esque border, I suppose, around my middle photos. So all my photos are going to go in the center. I know I want them to stand out just a little bit, but not too much. I almost didn't mat them at all, but I decided a really thin white mat will just highlight them enough that it doesn't take away from the busyness of all the patterns on the layout, but also so that they don't get lost, because while I love making pretty layouts, I want you to see my photos. That's the most important part. So I'm getting those very thin mats on, and I've noticed my regular paper trimmer, in case you haven't noticed, is very old, like 10, maybe not quite 10 years old, but still very old. So it's hard to get it, precisely when I'm trying to make extremely thin mats. So my little guillotine trimmer does a much better job with that. So that's what I was doing there. I was getting a good rough edge for my mats and then slicing them down to make them the right size with the little guillotine trimmer. Both of them are Fiskars products. I really like both of them. I know they're both very popular items among paper crafters. So as I'm putting this together, you can see I decided to do kind of I don't know, like a chasing corner. I don't know. I don't think that's the official name, but you can see my reddish color overlaps my navy, then the navy overlaps the red, and so on and so on. I think that just makes it look nicer. And then also it gives an even balance of the patterns. Because originally that's what I was trying to decide, do I want more of the reddish color to show or more of the navy to show? And it's like, oh, wait, I can just, overlap every other one and it'll work nicely. And then I have the pink one that I decided to kind of split. It was already split down the middle, but literally put it down the middle as though it's, just split down the middle, so you can see that gray of the cardstock below coming through. And I like the effect that this gives, because then you can still see the gray of the cardstock, but you still get the pink pattern. You still see all the other patterns. I just like how it looks. And also, it's just another good way to use up those 6x8 pages, because, excuse me, I love having the small paper pads, and I love using them, and I, in general, just love using up my supplies, because, one, it's fun to use them, and two, then you get to buy more. So it all works out really well. I am roughing up the edges with my little paper edge distresser, and I must say it's a little bit tough when you've got such a small piece of paper that you've cut down into a triangle. So I definitely lose some time, I suppose, on that, but I'm not speed crafting by any means, so it's okay that it takes a while. I think this just helps kind of differentiate the pink paper from what I consider more to be the background, which is, the gray cardstock, the more reddish color paper, and the navy. Also, again, just kind of framing in my photos and highlighting them. Now, as I am getting all this down, I know I want my journaling box to go in probably the bottom left-hand corner. And you can see that I'm trying to find something from my Chamel Sparkle City pad, journaling pad. I do have another Chamel pad, but I do not even look in that just because I know the colors are so much brighter, and that just will not do. So ultimately, I decided that the Chamel pieces are just too big. They don't work with my layout. But I do have a snap card from Simple Stories. It's, I want to say, the summer vintage or vintage summer, maybe. It's the one that I've been using a lot recently, if you've seen any of my other videos. And this is just the perfect little journaling box. I write a little bit about how really neat it was to see the salt mines from this elevated view, and also how embarrassingly I did expect them to be underground. And clearly they were not. So that was, a cool thing to learn. And it really, the whole experience was fantastic. And I popped this up on some foam using my double-sided tape just to kind of draw your eyes to it, give it a little more dimension. Now, I like how my layout's turning out, but I know I need to do something at my title. I want to put that up at the top in the middle, kind of going along with my photos. And ultimately, I'm getting lower on thickers. It's so nice to have this one set. I've used it a lot. I believe it's called Everywhere. And if you look closely, which you might not be able to see super well in the video, but each of the thickers, they're like a chipboard thicker, and they have like a map. It looks like a map is printed on it. And I just kind of lucked into 3 sets of these. So it's not, I got 2 on sale and 1 was given to me as a gift. So I have quite a bit, and this is all about travel. So I use them quite a bit. And I am almost finished with 1 pack. I'm starting to run low on vowels in my 2nd pack, and I'm just going to be so sad for the day that comes when I open up the 3rd pack or run out of A's or E's or whatever. That's always a tough time. But I spell out salt mine. You could see that I actually cut off the end of a J in order to make it an I. And I used a 3 as an E. So I know that's a little bit silly because I do still have other letters, but I just didn't want to break open that 3rd pack. And also, again, like I said earlier, it's just so satisfying to use up your supplies. And when I had that, 1 pack that's really low, I want to use it as much as I can before, getting rid of it and moving on to the next one. So do you do that? I mean, if you have those letter stickers, do you Frankenstein your letters or just go out and buy more? Let me know. Maybe I should just bite the bullet and go out and buy more. I'm not sure. And then up with my tiny tile stickers, I just put the name of the salt mine, Maras, M-A-R-A-S, in little tile stickers at the top. Now, my last goal is to do a little bit of embellishing. Start with some Pink Fresh puffy stickers. They're technically from the Stay Home collection, and clearly we are not at home. But I think a lot of them are applicable, and I think the colors go pretty well. So I've got 1 in 3 places now. So I'm going to make 3 little clusters here, one up at the top you can see, one just above the journaling box, and one down here in the bottom right corner. Now I've got just a few more. These are little birds, which really have nothing to do with the layout, but they work, the colors work well. They were just from that, the little bin at Joann's where they've got a bunch of different, stickers and scrappy things. And I had just a few more to kind of finish up some clustering. I've got a few enamel dots that I pop around. The yellow isn't necessarily in the layout, but I really like how it kind of pops on the page, and it's not so bright that I think it takes away from anything. But then you can just, see the embellishments. And now I thought these bows might be a little too much. They are little ribbon bows that are up on foam, so they're definitely full of dimension and texture. But I end up really liking it. I put 3, 1 in each cluster there to finish off the clusters. And I add just a little border with my Jelly Roll pen to finish up my layout. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.